Hello, I'm Dr. Clint Sexton with Naperville Integrated Wellness. And today what I want to do is take functional medicine and just simplify it, okay? It's really easy to take a subject and make it complicated. What's difficult is to take a subject that's complicated and simplify it and make it really simple to understand. So let's just simplify the concept of what we're doing here with functional medicine. So with functional medicine, we want to restore function to the body. And function, for that to be maintained, has to basically be the result of good control or regulation within the body. And we have three major systems that are regulating or modulating what's going on within the body. Okay, and that would be the nervous system. We'll simplify that more and just say the brain. Okay, we have the immune system, and then we have our hormones, what we call the endocrine system. So those are the three that are really running the show. And they're all working on this together, and they all influence each other. So we have these three major areas we want to be able to get to, and we have one main way to get to them, and that is through the digestive system or the gut. So you hear that a lot in functional medicine, that you got to handle the gut, got to fix the gut first. Yes, because that is our access point. That's our entry point for us to be able to influence what's going on with the brain, what's going on with the immune system, what's going on with hormones. So let's just start with the first one, which would be the brain. Okay. Now, there's other parts of the nervous system, but again, we're going to make this simple. We're just going to say the brain. So we have a lot of connection between what happens in the gut and what's happening in our brain, both directions. If we have problems in the gut, it's going to affect the environment of the brain. If we're having problems in the brain, it's going to affect the environment of the gut. So an example of this could be, let's say that we have an overgrowth of organisms in the gut, and those can create some harmful chemicals, and these can travel either through the bloodstream or through another nerve that goes up to the brain, and that can affect the environment of the brain. Or it can go the other direction. Let's say that someone has a head trauma or has something that affects the environment of the brain directly, and that can actually cause a leaky gut. So it can go both ways, all right? But again, simple, we're going to use our gut to influence or access the environment of the brain. Let's take the next system, the immune system. Most of your immune system, 70 to 80% of the whole immune system of your whole body is located in and around the gut. So it makes sense that if we want to have an impact on the immune system, that's where we'd be looking at, okay? So your immune system can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Your immune system should be there to protect you, okay, from other organisms and harmful things. Like it should kill viruses and bacteria, and it should also kill harmful cells like cancerous cells, for example. It also is involved in healing. So if you injure a tissue, there'll be an inflammatory response, but that's part of the healing process. So when all those things are working just as they should be and the immune system is regulating itself, everything works fine. If the immune system gets out of control, let's say that it starts to attack you, that would be an autoimmune disease. That's poor regulation of the immune system. So your immune system can either save you or it can actually kill you, okay? So we want to make sure that our immune system's working properly, all right? So we talked about the brain, now we're talking about the immune system, but those two are really going to influence one another as well. Then we have the third, which would be hormones. So hormone regulation, if we really wanted to go from the top down, it would start in the brain and in an area of the brain called the hypothalamus, okay? So from the hypothalamus, it communicates to another organ, which would be called your pituitary gland. And that is a gland, and it makes hormones, and it sends out hormones to other parts of your body, like to your thyroid, okay, or to the ovaries, or the testicles, or the adrenal glands. And then it tells those glands to make the hormones that they make. Okay, you with me? So we go hypothalamus, which is brain, to pituitary gland, to those target organs, thyroid, ovaries, adrenals, etc. Okay, but again, it really starts with the nervous system, okay, and then goes on through the rest of the hormones. So these all influence each other. So we could have a problem in the environment of the brain, let's say the hypothalamus, which could affect what's going on with hormones. The immune system can get involved. So let's say we have an inflammatory response as a result of the immune system, and that can affect the environment of the brain as well, which would then alter what's going on with our hormones. So again, we don't want to make it complicated. We have three major regulating systems: brain, immune system, hormones, or endocrine system, okay? They all influence each other, and they are regulating really what's happening in the body. You could pretty much take any condition and you could go back to it and say, that's a problem with hormones, that's a problem with the immune system, that's a problem with the nervous system, okay, etc. You just go round, or it's a combination of, one or more of those. You can't alter one of those three and not have some sort of impact on the other two of those main regulating systems. So again, we have three main systems. The way we want to access or influence those systems is going to be through the environment of the gut, because then we can influence what's going on with the nervous system, what's going on with the immune system, and that's going to also influence what's going on with our hormones and the endocrine system, okay? So really what we're doing in functional medicine, we're trying to find out which systems of those three really seem to be the most dysfunctional. How can we support them? And our access point is going to be through the gut, changing the environment of the gut to change how these others are working, okay? So hopefully this just simplifies what we're talking about here, because we could go into all kinds of things. We could talk about all the things that could go wrong in the gut. You could have food sensitivities, you could have SIBO, you could have a leaky gut, we could have gut infections, we could have alterations of the microbiome. We can go on and on and on. We don't need to, you don't need to get into all that. These are things that I need to know about in order to correct these issues that we see in the gut. But then understanding the relationships, being able to look at a condition, something that you're going through, a symptom that you're having or a disease that you have, and going, okay, so how are these three main regulating systems involved? Then how do we want to try and influence or support them so they can bring regulation and health back to the body? Okay, I hope you found this helpful. Hopefully it kind of simplified it. This was not designed to give you a bunch of answers and solutions to your problems. It's more getting a concept, a conceptual understanding of what we're doing in functional medicine, how we're looking at it. This is my view of how this is. I view it as the three main systems, and the access point being through the gut. That's not my original idea, but that's how I conceptualize it and put this together to try and simplify conditions and come up with better solutions. Okay? Hope you found this helpful. Also, check out the blog and read. There's more details and some links on there you can check.